What is up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about two poker myths about fish that most people believe in. The first myth is that fish don't overbet bluff. This is not true. In some nodes, it's only true in certain nodes. So I'm going to show you three nodes where fish definitely overbet bluff. The first node that fish overbet bluff in is the small blind versus big blind single raise pot triple barrel line. So we are in the big blind, and our opponent, who is a fish, bets flop, bets turn, and is on the river and bets. What we see here from the data is that fish are certainly overbet bluffing. In the bet 120 line, they are betting 5% more than GTO, and in the bet 70 line, they are betting 4% more than GTO. So if you are against a fish and you have a bluff catcher that is not ace high because they're using the dark green, which means they're bluffing with low pair. So if you have a non-ace high bluff catcher, you should always be calling versus the bet 120 line. This is the first line where fish do overbet bluff. Let's go to the second line. Now the second line we know is the 3-bet pot out of position pre-flop razor triple barrel line. So what does that mean? That means if we look at blinds versus button in a 3-bet pot formation, we see the fish, if he bets 50 on the flop, which is the most common fish sizing, if he bets the turn and he bets 150% pot on the river, he's 41 weak and he should be 38 weak. The same trend happens at bet 120, where they're over bluffing by 8% on the bet 50 on the flop and 10% from bet 30 on the flop. So in this triple barrel line, they are certainly over bet bluffing. Let's look at the third and final node for this video. Check, raise, bet, bet. When we are on the flop and we see bet on the button and our opponent is a fish in the big blind, let's look at check, raise, bet, bet for single raise pots. Again, they are over bet bluffing. Let's say we go small, they check raise, they bet turn, and then they bet river 120. They are 43 weak, and the GTO percentage is 35 weak. Another spot where fish are definitely overbet bluffing. We have to be careful when we're in these spots when we have ace highs because we know they are merged. So do not bluff catch with ace highs. Instead, use your pairs. Okay, what's the second myth about fish that most people get wrong? The second myth about fish that most people get wrong is don't bluff fish. There are many nodes where fish overfold and we get to bluff fish. Let's go over three spots where we should be bluffing fish much more than theory. Let's look at the check call, check, check node when the fish is the out of position pre-flop caller. In this spot, we are button versus big blind. We see bet small on the flop. We decide to check back turn. Our opponent, who is a fish, checks back, checks the river to us, and we have a decision to make. We see here this number should be 50. How do I get that number? Risk divided by risk plus reward. And we see this number should be 41. And it's actually 60. So they are over folding by 19% if I bet 70. So I should always bet my bluffs. This is a spot where you see huge folding frequencies compared to what alpha should be in theory. That's the first node. Let's go to the second one. The second one is when my opponent, who's a fish, donks flop and he checks turn. Let's see the fish folding frequencies after donking small on the flop, and they check turn. We see huge overfolds, folding 67% to a bet 70, folding 72% to a bet 70. Again, we can't exactly use MDF formulas here because there's still one street to play, but they are over folding compared to theory. Finally, let's go to the third node. The third node is when we check back flop, they probe turn and they check river. So this time we check back on the flop, the fish probes turn, and the fish checks river. This is an even bigger overfold. Remember, the fold 100 should be 50, the fold 70 should be 41. and the fold 50 should be 33%. It's 62%. So this is 3 spots where you want to overbluff fish, and also 3 spots where fish over bet bluff. If you enjoy this type of content, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe. A new video every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.